Toggle and radio buttons are everywhere in real apps. But a lot of people, especially when they are beginning with Power Apps development, they don't quite understand what values they return and how to read them. In this lesson, we are going to understand this based on a basic example, where we are going to create this toggle and this radio button. This is part of my full course that I will leave the link in the pinned comments. Now let's go to the lesson. In the previous lesson, we learned how to use the checkbox control, and we even used its output to control the button visibility and display mode. In this lesson, we are going to continue learning more controls because they are going to be very useful as you develop your own apps. And it's important to understand the properties. So now we are going to take a look at the toggle control and the radio button control. We will create a simple scenario just to read their values. We're just going to extend this visual here. So right below this checkbox, we are going to insert a toggle button now. So let's go to Insert, Input, and here we have toggle. Let's move it below it. I will widen it a little bit and I will change its label, that's the text that shows here, to a question. Because it's mainly to reply yes or no. It's the same as the checkbox, like yes, no, true, false. We check and uncheck. We only have two options. And here we can have the label, the same as the checkbox. So in this case, let's say it's a question. Do you need special assistance? And now we have this label here and I can check yes or no. Once we check yes or no, we can read its values. So let's see how to read it. Let's repeat the same process as in the previous lesson, that we inserted a label, a text. Sometimes I call it label because in the past we had the classic controls. Now Power Apps is updated to the modern controls. It was called label and now it's called text. So I still use some old language. So if I say label, you know what it means. Okay, now in this text, let's get the output of the toggle. Well, for the checkbox, we use checkbox name.checked. What about for the toggle control? Let's see. Let's give a better name for this toggle. I'll call it toggle special assistance. Now I can already copy this name, Ctrl C, and then here in the text property of this text, I'm going to paste the name and put a dot, and now we see what are the options. Even if you don't know the correct way to access it, you can guess, look at the options. In this case, it's dot checked. Well, it's the same as the checkbox. And if we play, now we see that's false. But if we change to on, like change the switch, it goes to true. So it's the same idea as the checkbox. Pretty simple. So you could use this true or false to make changes in the app, show or hide things, enable or disable, or in the future, if you're integrating to a data source, you can use this to send this value to some database. Let's say changing some value to true or false. Okay, now let's go to the second one, and we are going to use the output of this one to show or hide the second one. But first, let's insert it. It's the radio button. So let's go to Input, again, Insert, Input, and then we have Radio. So this radio button gives you a list of options, and you can select only one. See, once I click in one, the other is unchecked. So I can select only one option based on a list of options. And the idea here will be to provide the user the list of special assistances that the user can request. In this case, only one, because it's a radio button. It's just for us to understand how it works. So I'm going to go back to the edit mode, and then in the radio button, we have this property that's the items. Here is the first control that received this property that we are seeing, the items. This is going to repeat a lot across Power Apps. It's very important for you to understand what it means. It's basically a list of rows that's going to show in here. See, by default, we have this array. It's called an array because it's between brackets and separated by the delimiter, that in this case is a comma. It depends on the language. It might be a semicolon. And then we have the text inside it. I'm going to replace item 1 by mobility assistance. Item 2 will be visual assistance. And item 3 will be hearing assistance. I could add more items, adding a comma, and then let's say other. And then it will automatically appear in the radio button. It's very simple the way it works. You put the items and it reflects already in the control. Now if I play the app, again, I can select only one. Before reading its value, seeing how to get the selected value, we have other visual properties of the control. For any control, you can always click on it, expand the side panel, and look at the properties that we have here. Well, let's see the specifics. In this case, we have size and position, and then we have layout that's vertical, but it could be horizontal, and then they are horizontally displayed. We also have horizontal stacked, so the name is below the selector. I will keep horizontal by now. We can control font and other things, and also the radio size if I want to increase the radio size, as the name says. Okay, now let's see how to read its value. Okay, now before reading its value, I only want to show this radio if this toggle is checked. You already know how to do that because we did for the button. So basically we get the name of the toggle, we go to the control that we want to show or hide and go to the visible. In the visible, we change the formula and put the name of the control that we want to refer to. Once we do it, we see that's already highlighted. That helps a lot for us to identify in the screen, in the visual, which one we are referring to. And then we put dot checked. Since this is already true or false, because it returns a true or false, the visible will be true or false, and that's what it expects. And it's going to hide in case it's unchecked, and show because it's going to be true in case it's checked. See, now, since this one is checked, we see this one, and we can select its option. Now let's take a look on how to read the selected value. Again, let's insert a text. Right now I'll put below it, and then we need to get the name of the control, radio group canvas 1, but I will change to reds selected assistance. Let's copy the name, and now in this text, I'm going to paste it, Ctrl V, dot, and let's see what are the options. Now we don't have checked or value or text. We have a different option that's selected. That will reflect the selected item. But notice that we have an error. That's because what we have in the items property of this radio is an array. It's not a single value. And if we look at that array, if we go back to the items property and we highlight it, we have a table. So a table has columns. Right now we just have one column that we can expand and see that the column is called value. So this is what we need to put in there, selected dot value. It's a little confusing in the first time you see it, but you're going to get used as we develop more stuff in the app. Because sometimes we may also have more columns here, not just the name, but we can have more information for each row. We are going to see that in the next lesson that's about drop-down. I'm going to try to explain that. Okay, but right now, just keep in mind that you put dot selected, you're going to see an error. You can hover the mouse over it, and we see the error. It says it expects a text, but this data type is a record. Well, because the selected is the entire row from the items that we have in there. Then I need to put dot value. And then we see exactly what's selected in there. Visual assistance. Now if I play, hearing assistance, other, and so on. Once I check, this value changes. And I can use this information to show things in the app or send to a data set, as I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago. To summarize this lesson, checkbox and toggles return true or false. It's called a boolean. And radio buttons return the selected value from a list of options. Understanding this makes it very easier for you when you're going to develop real apps. In the next lesson, we are going to continue working with input controls, and now we are going to take a look at the drop-down. See you in there. Thanks for watching. Now I'll leave you with a recommended lesson. As a reminder, this is part of my course that you can find in the pinned comments. In there, you can learn without distractions and follow all the contents in the correct order. If you learned something, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. That helps me a lot to create more content like this. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye.